I'm going to give you two options. Either you spend 2 hours every day and learn about how to invest money, or we are talking trash. My master always told us, never in your life you guys are taking a credit card.
That's obviously a big shift when you come to America.
Yeah, it's a very big shift. Initially, I remember when I came here, I told him that no, things are different in America. You need to build a credit score.
Yeah, I tell people, right, the real estate is not just about the monetary returns, but it's also the return on hassle.
My mom was very keen on educating me well. So every time before my exam, when I was to shower, my mom used to sit outside the bathroom and read books. Like she used to read so I could still grasp things when I'm taking shower. This is a new way I've learned that okay, if I like something and I try to calculate, okay, how much would it cost me to work? How many hours should I work to get that more? And then...
Honestly, that's not a bad way to look at things. I think a lot of people can benefit from. Hi, Siddhika. Welcome to the NRI Money Mindset Podcast, soon to be renamed the Money Culture Stories Podcast.
That's a good name.
That's what I'm thinking of. Siddhika's from Bombay and lives with her husband Soham in Michigan, where she works as a physical therapist. And before coming on the podcast, I asked her for a fun fact. And she said that her fun fact is that she hates books, almost does not like reading anything that is text-based. So now you know. That's why we're doing it as a podcast.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming on, Siddhika.
Thank you. I don't like reading things. I'm very bad at texting people back. I don't like to follow rules and regulations.
Well, I hope you follow some regulations when you're driving. So
I try to.
let's dive right into it. Right? Tell me about your earliest memory of money.
So, my parents had a business. So we owned a store. So I remember coming back from school and coming to the store. And by the time I used to come back from school, my mom would be sitting counting the cash. And I think that was my first memory. And I used to always think, even if she gives me like 1 rupee a day, I'll end up having like 30 rupees a month. And that's a lot of money back then. So I think I still remember that I have that visual memory still.
Did she end up giving you the 1 rupee?
No. So I had 1 rupee in I think we had a calendar in the school. So there used to be 1 rupee inside just to make a phone call in emergency. Back then there was a PCO. Like I had something valuable with me to carry. And I used to always check my calendar over there. 1 rupee is still there inside. Yes.
So did you help around the house for any other money or?
Yes. So my father used to, I think I would say bribe us. So in the afternoon, because I used to hate sleeping in the afternoon. So if I sleep and if I help, like whenever his legs used to hurt or back used to hurt, so like 10 minutes of just pressing the leg and then you would get like a rupee for like 10 minutes or something. So once in a while.
I think that's child labor, right?
That's child labor.
But par for the course for most Indian households.
Yeah.
We just didn't know it at that time. And the rates were really
very cheap.
Very cheap as well. Yeah. So do you remember the first thing that you bought with this money?
I do remember once I went to my cousin's place and I think my uncle was sleeping and then I had that money. So we had a shop and I think back then we used to get those candies in umbrella or those cigar candies.
Right.
So I remember I took my cousins down to that store to buy those candies.
Phantom is the name of the cigarette.
Phantom, yeah. Yep.
They're apparently still around.
Yes, they
it's
are.
So crazy.
They are.
So crazy to think that they're still in today's day and age. They're still manufacturing 10 rupee. And as you kind of were in school, did you know what kind of socioeconomic background you were in? What kind of socioeconomic class you were in?
I remember we were somewhere kind of middle class. Like my best friend who used to live across the street. I used to spend most of my time at her home, and I used to see that I think she's very, very rich than what we are. And so I thought somewhere we were between like poor to middle class kind of family. So I remember there, I think it was my sixth or seventh birthday, and then my mom had taken me to buy a dress. And before my birthday, it used to be hers birthday, like 2 months before. And I remember she had got like three different dresses, like one for school, one for tuition, and one for evening party. So when my mom took me for to buy those dresses, I was like, I want three dresses. And she's like, no, I can't, no, we cannot do that. You have to buy only one dress. I think that's when I started to understand that, and like my parents have given me whatever I've asked for, but that time it was like she was emphasizing a lot that no, we're just gonna buy one dress. You don't need three dresses. Maybe it was her way of teaching me, or maybe we didn't have money. I have no idea. But I do remember that phase, and that always then made me think, oh, I think we don't have enough money, so we should not ask for more.
Did you feel like your sister got the same treatment at home?
No,
It
no
was
way.
different.
No, very different. She got every single thing that she wanted.
Why do you think that's the case?
Um, so I remember we both went to different schools. So my school
Mm.
was a little farther away, so I used to always take bus to come and go. But for my sister, she was little closer to home. So even though she had a bus service, my mom used to pick her and drop up, especially every Fridays. I remember that. And every time when she used to go to school and come back, she used to get a Mongenis. Back then, there was a Mongenis across her school. So she used to get pastries from there every time. And I remember having that 1 rupee coin in my calendar. So, do you see the difference now?
You think it's just a function of her being a younger child, or yeah?
So, and we have a 7 years age gap. So,
Okay.
I think the other part can also be related to because by the time my sister started going to school, we lost my father and my mom was the sole earner. So maybe that can be a part where a fatherly figure was missing, and that's why I think she was also in the school which was closer, so my mom could take care of her.
How's your mom managing running? I mean, being a sole owner is not easy, right?
Oh, it is definitely not easy. And I have seen her. So like by the time I got to like ninth standard, eighth standard, and when I started to understand it better, I think, and a lot of times I also think I would have done better of not troubling her.
Did you ever get an opportunity to sit down with your mom and talk about money and finances?
Not really, because like my biological mother passed away when I was in 10th, and like I said, by the time I could understand things to talk to
Mhm.
her, I think too late.
So you lost both your parents by the time you're in 10th grade.
Yes, yes. I lost my dad when I was in fifth, so
Mm.
my sister was barely, I think, 2 or 3 years maybe, and my mother passed away when I was in 10th.
During your board
During
exams?
my like, she passed away in October, and I think I gave my boards in March.
What was that like?
Uh, so touchwood, I think my mom was sick for a long time, so she knew this was going to happen, and she had made sure that we had enough funds. Like, see, she wanted, like, especially with me, she was very keen on educating me well and making sure that, so my there were two things. Like, my dad wanted me to be an IAS officer, and my mom wanted me to go into an engineering. So that was a thought process that she put me into since I was a kid. So every time before my exam, when I used to shower, my mom used to sit outside the bathroom and read books. Like, she used to read so I could still grasp things when I'm taking shower. And that's the reason she had made sure that we had enough funds for both our education. And she saved up and she told my uncle that, hey, when I pass away, I want you to take care of my girls. And I think she had made sure that everything was enough for us.
Is that your mom's sister or mom's brother? Or
My mom's sister and her husband.
did you have cousins with whom you then grew up? Or
Yes, I did have cousins, and of course, it was a tough transition because my masa is very strict in terms of like
Mm,
discipline and punctual and
mm,
everything. While staying with my parents were like okay, easy to go. So when we went transition into their home, it was a little tough, and of course tough for their kids also because someone coming into
mm,
your space, and especially we don't have a that much of age gap. We are like just like 1 or 2 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really tough initially. I would say like 2 to 3 years. But as we, especially me and the my master's elder daughter, we have like 2 years age gap. So I think by the time we were in 12th, 11th, 12th, I think I was in 12th, she was in 10th. We started having that little bit of maturity, I think, to her. Like, I started understanding from her point of view that why she might be doing
Mm.
this or why she's thinking it that way. Today, it's like four of us, we don't even feel like we are like cousins.
Did you see the money situation change at that point? I know you said your mom had set some funds aside, but
Frankly speaking, when we moved to my Masamasi's house, I think there was never a single moment where we felt like, oh, your mom has left this much early, or okay, this is for our kids. Like every time, four of us were treated equally. And touchwood, my Masa was really well to do of, and he, I don't think so, he even touched whatever my mom saved for us. I think we were very blessed. Like I remember uh, when I saw things from my mom, and especially after my dad passed away, buying a cycle also was little tough for her. But when I transitioned into my master's house, anything I could ask, it was easily available. But my Masi at the other point, she made sure that it's not that you ask and you get for things. So I think there was a really good balance between one being like giving and one trying to make sure that hey, you don't get everything what you ask for. You have to also make sure that there are other people in the house and you're not gonna get everything.
did you see there was more traditional finance roles in the household?
Yes, kind of. I think because everyone in the house is has their own business, so I have seen everyone by the end of the day talking about how business is doing or how what we are doing and is it profitable or not. So I've always heard about those terms in the house,
Mm.
and traditional, like very traditional way of like savings has always been the utmost priority in the house.
As you transitioned living with your parents to living with your aunt and uncle, how do you feel like that changed your relationship with money?
I think more about the money, I would say, I think I learned from my biological mom because I have seen her like struggle and making sure every like what is savings and what is important. I think, and that has caused more impact on my thinking about money than my Masi Masa. Of course, like I said,
Mm.
things were little easily available with Masa as compared to mom, and I think that for me, being sometimes little frugal about certain things, I think it comes from my mom. And the thing that you need to enjoy your life, and not everything is about savings after having enough save for any day, is what I learned from my Masa.
It's two very different spending ideologies, right? One is completely save, save. One is
Yeah.
like, don't think about spending. How do you reconcile both of those as you make decisions about money?
I think for me it's like you, as you know, if I see money in the account, I feel like spending. But if I see okay, I don't have enough in the account, and I'm like okay, no, we need to stop spending. That's me. I would try to. This is a new way I've learned that okay, if I like something and I try to calculate okay, how much would it cost me to work? How many hours should I work to get that more? And then I start thinking it that way.
Honestly, that's not a bad way to look at things. I think a lot of people can benefit from that exact math of like, oh, how many hours do I need to work post tax in order to afford something. So I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
As you transition to college, you're again opening yourself up to a world of more people.
Mhm.
What was that like in terms of a transition?
When I went out of state to do my bachelor's, and I think my masa had given me really enough money, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my bachelor's. Like frankly, like really, there was not a single moment where in fact, I used to feel that I have more money around and I am rich. I still regret it. I should have saved enough money back then, but I didn't.
Your dad wanted you to be an IS officer, and your mom wanted you to be an engineer. So how did you end up in the current field of PT that you're in?
So funny story. Back then in school we had this Bunsel's classes. They were like the IIT classes, and my mom enrolled at me when I was in, I think, seventh or eighth grade. I literally took like three classes, and I told her I have no idea what goes into this class. I can't. I can do basic math, but I don't understand integration, derivatives. It's really beyond my capacity. I still remember then my mom passed away, and then my 10th grade results came, and me and Masa was sitting. I think we were sitting on the computer. And we were trying to look what my result came, and as soon as he saw, though, I got 90%, and then I cried. I literally cried. I told him, I don't want to go for engineering. I don't like engineering. I want to go to medical field. And then his shock. He's like, I don't know what you want to study, because he did civil engineering, and he didn't practice civil engineering at all. He went into construction business. So it's like, I don't know what you're talking, and you need to figure out with your Masi what you want to do. And then I'm telling my Masi, I know I'll do great in medical. I like biology. I'll study biology. She's like, okay, let's get your 11th and 12th done, and then we can figure out what you want to do ahead.
Mm.
So that's how I went to 11th and 12th. And then I wanted to actually do MBBS. I wanted to go to like pure medical line. But I think I didn't score well in 12th. So I had two options. It's like either you go to dental or you go to physiotherapy. One of my cousin, my mama's eldest son, was already into physical therapy. So then
I see.
I spoke to him, and then I went to a couple clinics, and I was like, okay, let's give this a shot.
Okay, interesting. And then what prompted you to move to the US to do PT then?
That's when in fourth year I got told I had enough money, I lived a great life. And then when I was in my final year and when we were about to, that's when we got to know that physical therapy doesn't have enough money.
Mm.
You don't get paid enough. Because that's when I started my first internship, and I remember we got like 1,000 rupees a month.
Wow. Mm.
So that 6 months of internship was like, okay, I mean, look, the way I'm living and the things I want, I really wanted to travel the world, and I'm a big foodie, so trying food, I was like, I think this is not sufficient for me to survive. And to the point, I have reached the point where I don't want to ask money from my dad anymore.
Hmm.
Because again, I had three other siblings who were still yet to study and have their career. I did not want to ask money from him. That's when I started looking around, and then I realized, okay, if I go ahead and study further, especially if I'm going out of the country, it's a better lifestyle, better money. So that's when I decided to started researching about the US.
It seems like everybody in your family was like business oriented. It didn't cross your mind to do something business related from there?
I remember like my first to second year, I actually did not enjoy physical therapy much.
Hmm.
And so back then we used to go on trips every year. Like we were 60 people in the class, and I used to plan trips.
Yeah.
So I think we went to Alibag, and I think then we went to Shimla, Manali, and I used to be the one who used to take gather money from everyone, open a bank account, look at all the travel, plan the itinerary, everything for everyone. So I think that's when I realized that I think I'm gonna go into I'm gonna do management after this. I'm gonna do like an MBA or something, and I'm gonna have do something with management. And then second, third year passed, and I was like, by the time I went into fourth year, I started treating patients, and then I realized I think I enjoy part of doing this, and I just strictly don't want to go into management. But let's see what future holds. Maybe I'll get my own clinic and I'll manage it, or I'll do an MBA, go into business or something. But after 4.5 years and seeing everyone around me going for higher studies, then I thought I think I'm gonna go to the US, and then I'll see from there.
What was that journey to the US like? How did you figure out the decision to study financially?
So it was tough. It was not easy, definitely. After figuring out how much money it's going to cost, I was very hesitant to ask my uncle about such a big amount, and knowing that my, especially my biological sister, who is really behind me, and she is still like, she had moved to a CBSE school. I studied in SSE school, so again CBSE being expensive, and she's not yet out of school and she has to study. Should I be really asking for this much money from him? Is it fair on his part? Is it fair for where on his kids? Because one of his daughter was recently, he she was in Australia studying, and his youngest son who also wanted to go abroad for studies. So was it fair to put so much pressure on him? So when I graduated and when I moved back home, I started working, and I used to travel all the way like 2 hours taking a train to go Marine Lines, and working all day, coming back home in the evening. And that makes me, I really don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And even if I do masters, it's not gonna give me a big jump in my pay, and I don't want to do this. Then I started seeing my batchmates who went to the US, and I started researching more how much it would cost. And then I told my Masi that why don't we do one thing? Whatever my mom saved for us for wedding, I don't want to spend on wedding. I would rather educate myself and I'll earn money and I'll support my sister. But I want to go abroad. She's like, I understand what you're saying, but don't you ever dare to tell your masa that you're thinking like that. That whatever you say, whatever your mom said for your wedding, you're gonna spend that whole and go abroad. He would never let you do that. And do you want to get rid of all the gold and everything what your mom saved for your wedding? Do you want to give that away to go abroad? You don't want those sentiments with you. And then I told Masa, and my Masa is like, how much money do you need? And I told him so and so much of money, and that's just the education cost, living, traveling, and everything is different. And he was like, okay, I'll manage it. We'll see what you do. So I started explaining him, okay, this is the how much funds I need, and this is how much you need to show when you go to the US. And he was like, why do they need liquid money? I just show them this property value is this, and then because he was in a construction business, so he could do those. And I think there was couple of times where he was like, "You're not going abroad. I'm done. I can't do this bitch of money. You're not going abroad." And I constantly had a feeling, what can I do? But like I said, eventually, if I think even if it was my mom's blessing, it was my dad's blessing, or if my it was my Masi's prayers, whatever, eventually it worked out. Both me and his son, both of us traveled. I came to the US. He went to Canada. It was tough. I really didn't think I would make it. I also had. I remember talking to my best friend. Again, my best friend is really well to do. So I was like, there was a point where I was like, "Can you please ask your dad to lend me some money? I'll return him back once I start earning." So I remember having constantly crying about it, and like, I don't think so I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna still struggle doing this 9 to 5 and traveling like 2 hours in the train.
What was your mind going through at that point of time when you had so much uncertainty and you really wanted to come here?
Like there was this one thought also where I told my Masi, why don't you get married me to like a rich guy or get me married to someone in the US. I'll go, I'll study there, and I'll figure out what to do. But I really want to step outside of this struggling phase. I don't want to ask money more. So I had like lots of thoughts. The other thought was like, okay, where we used to live, I'll put that house on, I'll take a loan on that house. It's okay. My mom will understand I did not keep the house where we grew up. It's fine. And my mom always wanted us, education was the first thing to her. So maybe she'll understand that.
Yeah, but that's like a very sentimental piece of property that you're putting up there, right? That's a
I know it was sentimental, but it was also for me, I think I had this thing that I need to be financially independent. I don't want to rely on anyone. I don't like to ask for money, and also I don't like to keep debt. So that's me. My master always told us, never in your life you guys are taking a credit card.
yeah.
Like never. Use your debit card if you have money. Then take it. Otherwise, you cannot take it, and you should not take credit.
That's obviously a big shift when you come to America.
Yeah, it's a very big shift. So initially, I remember when I came here, I told him that, oh, he had given me a cash, and back then you needed an SSN to
Yeah,
get a credit card.
yeah.
I remember going to Bank of America. It was next to my college. I went then. It's like, oh, I got this like so and so amount, and they're like, oh, we can open a bank account for you, and you can apply for credit card. And I got a on-campus job, and I was able to get the SS. And I told my mother, like, go right now to the bank and tell them you don't want the credit card, only debit card. I was like, no, things are different in America. You need to build a credit score.
I'm curious to hear a little bit more about the period when you were earning, right? In India. That's the first time you're kind of responsible for your own money.
Uh-huh.
You're earning it, you're spending it. What was that like? How did that make you feel?
It was a good amount of money. I mean, not a huge, but good amount of money. I got my first paycheck, and the first thing I did was I gave it to my masa. Like, this is your money, and this is for you. I want you to buy something for yourself. My masa is like, you got connected to him because of me, and you're not giving money to me, and you're giving money to him. I was like, no. If he was not here, no, nothing would have been possible. So this all money is his. And then he told me, no, 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 I'm going to create a separate account for you where I won't look what you're doing there. So you put that money there and do whatever you want. So, of course, I didn't buy anything specific, but I remember my first
Mm.
ticket to the US, I booked with that money. The one way ticket that I took to the US, I booked with that money. I remember the exact amount. It's still like 41,000 rupees. I still remember that.
Yeah.
So,
Tickets have gotten more expensive since then, right? So
I swear. That's like now money going from here to California.
so yeah, so now you landed in the US. I'm assuming you have college admission. You obviously got your first job and your credit card that the bank gave you. So what's next for you?
Uh, so the next for me was, of course, getting a
Mm.
well-paid job. Though my masa was paying my tuition fees, constantly kept on calculating because that amount was really huge. And for the first 2 years, converting it back into Indian rupees was like making me always feel, oh, this is like a huge money. So what would your mother be able, if she was a single parent, would she be able to do that? So it always considered like you need to value these things. You just cannot get carried away that someone is paying for you, you don't have a loan, and you are good to go. No, you have to understand that your sister is behind you, and you need to start thinking on giving a thought process. What can you do for that? So got my on-campus job again, not a really well-paid. We got like 12, 13 hours. I saved enough, and then I think as soon as I got done with my last quarter, I told my master, I know I'm gonna find a job. So I want you to stop worrying about me, and I want you to focus on the other three kids, and
Mm.
I'll figure out myself what to do. So I still remember, I think I had like a very, very small amount of money in my account, and I had that 60 days of grace period where I needed to find a job. uh, I'm really grateful to one of my friend who let give me her house. I was in Chicago for 2 months. I didn't even pay a single penny on groceries, nothing on rent and everything. And she made sure that everything was there, and I'm always going to be grateful for her. I got connected to one of my senior who was in DC, and then he gave me some references, and then I got my first job. By the time you hear the job value and everything, I got excited. I didn't calculate back then that the tax is also applicable on that. So I went crazy. I called myself, like, I got my first job. I think I can take care of all the debts of the house. I can give your money back in 1 year. So I got it. I moved to DC and I got the job. And then my
Mhm.
first paycheck came in. And then I was like, I was promised so and so money. Why? Why am I not getting that much of money? And I remember spending 2 days trying to understand
Mhm.
what are the taxes and what
Yeah.
you end up paying and everything. And then I realized, okay, now we have stepped into reality. This is way different than what I thought.
That was before FICA and Social Security hit your account as well.
Yes.
And were you living in DC proper?
in proper DC near
Okay.
Georgetown.
Yeah, so I know DC also as a district tends to be more expensive because they have state
Oh,
taxes
I
and
know.
things like that as well.
Yep.
So, but did you enjoy DC?
No, not really. I didn't like it.
Really?
I think probably because I think I had like earlier just two friends who went to see, and all of us were settling. So coming from living with roommates and suddenly coming to a place
Mm-hmm.
where you just know two people but who are far away and
Mm.
no friends, no family, it was a little tough. And I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to live a city life, but I think I didn't enjoy. And by the time I had also met Soham, so I wanted to move to Michigan.
I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say I've wanted to move to Michigan.
Yes. I
But
told you, like Michigan grows on you.
interesting.
So
I'm yet to come visit you, but
yes.
hopefully we will make that
Yeah.
happen. Um, so yeah, as you're dating and you're figuring out
Uh-huh.
money stuff in the relationship, how did that work, right? You both are from very different backgrounds.
Soham is not the person who will run behind
Mm,
money. I think it's me who always wants secure, financially secure. For Soham, having enough on the plate, like having a roof, having enough food on the table, and he's the person who's minimalist.
mm,
He is not one fancy cars and fancy
yeah.
stuff. And every single he keeps on telling me, I think we have enough. And for me, it's like no, we don't have enough.
Hmm.
So I think that way, we've met somewhere midway where I taught him things where I explained him that sometimes money also
Right.
matters. It's not always, it doesn't matter. And he tried to make me understand that you sometimes have to be grateful. uh, I think you should always see below and not above
Hmm.
you. And I think that's how I think we both balance each other out. And I think I have learned more from him than what he's done for sure. I'm still learning.
Yeah, it's a very profound thing to say that we had a guest come on earlier, and they were like, uh, you always have people to your left, and if you're middle class or upper middle class, you always have people to your
Hmm.
left, and you always have people to your right. But you have to
Hmm.
understand that there is almost always more people to your left than they are to your right. Yeah, there's kind of a satisfaction in realizing that sometimes.
Yeah.
I know one of the things you said was important to you was financial independence. So how are you going about that? What has your journey been like?
Financial independence, like I learned it like when I started earning, I realized that just earning is not enough. And I always heard this thing from my masa, my mama, that you have to always make sure you have diversifying things and not putting all the eggs in one basket. I've always heard
Hmm.
this since I grew up. So I wanted to diversify, but like I said, I'm not really great in math. I can't do great with numbers. And Soham being Soham, he is like, if he has enough, he's like, I'm not gonna put my mind into reading about stuff or stock market or investment. That's not my cup
Hmm.
of tea. I get my salary. Max I can think about putting in savings account where I get interest, but beyond that I cannot function. I don't he's so I think it took us like 2 3 years to come to a point what we need to do. And then I think pandemic
Hmm.
hit, and then we saw, okay, I think interest rates are better, and I think let's get a house. So tomorrow if we something happens, we have something. We were kind of up and down, but I really like to show him like, let's get a house. I want to get a house. No, I'm not want to get a bigger house, but I want something which equivalents to the rent, and let's just go
Hmm.
ahead with that. And that's when that gave me a little independence, that okay, I have something of my own. So tomorrow if I something happens, I can sell that and get the money. So that was one thing. And the second thing was, and then we took the house, we came here, and I was like, I'm still struggling. I don't think so this is enough for us. Then I started researching more about it, and then I did follow you for a couple, I think almost six,
Yeah.
7 months, because I think there are like ten thousands of things
Yeah.
available on internet. You don't know if it's
Hmm.
true or not. I didn't say that, but I did Google you. I went over reviews and everything. I think, and you were not
Yeah.
established back then. You had it was coming out, this company was just opened and everything. And then I told Soham, like, I think we had like 4 5 times of conversation, like, hey, can you please take a look at Rishin? Go Googled his company. So can you took he was like, no, no, there are a lot of fraud people. We don't want to do this. Are you not happy? We are doing enough and blah blah stuff. And I think one day then I really lost us. Like, if I'm gonna give you two options. Either you spend 2 hours every day and learn about how to invest money, or we are talking to Vrishin. So he's like, okay, let's talk. And that's how we got introduced to you. And then after talking to you, I did realize that I think there are some things which are not, if you don't like
Mm.
it or if you're not interested, no matter how much you do,
Mm.
you're not gonna be enough. So, and I really like your approach and everything. And now here we
Oh,
are.
yeah, thank you. So, but I know like your uncle is big on property and stuff. Like you don't feel like it's in your ear all the time that you need to be owning real estate. I feel like that's something that we get a lot from Indian uncles in general.
Yeah. I still feel that I should own more properties, but on the other side, I also don't want to juggle behind managing it, because I've seen him do that again. Again,
Hmm.
life in India is different than life in the
Right.
US. You have people in India, you don't have that many
Hmm.
people here, and so most of the times, I think also as I'm growing old, I feel like I want to enjoy life more than running behind things and managing it.
Yeah.
So till I think for now I don't want to get into that unless like I turn like 35, 40, where okay, I think I can manage few things, sit at home and do, then that's a different. But right now I
Yeah.
think back of the mind there's still a little thought process that I should have more properties. But more of the time I think I should be like, let's enjoy life and let's not struggle so
And
much.
what is Soham's take on it? Like,
So I'm like totally no. He's like, no, we are good, we have a house, both of us have a good jobs, we enjoy working, and we both love traveling, we do travel a lot, and
yeah.
everything is there. Have good family, get able to spend time with family. And he's like, why do you want to have one more headache?
Yeah, I tell people, right, we had this conversation, which is like real estate is not just about the monetary returns, but it's also the return on hassle, right? Because
Hassle.
it's a non-zero amount, and so how much work are you willing to put
Right.
in order to get that monetary benefit? And the answer is I'd rather just get a bit lower return,
Right.
but again, it depends on how you structure your life.
Right. And I also remember, I think there was this first time when we were talking about, and then you said that I don't like cooking or I don't like cleaning. That's the reason
Hmm.
I'll hire a bike. So my
Yeah.
time is equivalent to my money. And I think it always comes to my mind, those statements from you, like
Yeah.
time is equivalent to money. So if I rather have a
Hmm.
lady come to my house who
Yeah.
will clean, I can use that time to do something else,
Yeah.
which is more,
Mhm.
which would make me more money or at least give me more happiness. Because cleaning is not going to give me happiness.
I and we all do it in India, which like I'm very confused as to why we don't take that same approach in the US, even though salaries scale proportion like a good amount, and it is more expensive to get those services, but
I think, like, if for me, why I don't do that is because there is a part of me still converting that money. There's a part of me still thinking that if I can give that 50, I can save that $50,
Hmm.
or I can buy, like me, I can buy a dress, or I can get a handbag. So that's me. That's why. Um, I don't know what guys think about it.
I mean I think largely for the Indian population it is the fact that it's so expensive, like we should not do it. But again, like I would say time is the only kind of most important thing, because once you lose it you're not even getting it back. Money can be
Right.
earned back. I've almost started joking like I'm the Kamwali Bai for your finances, because that's literally you're offloading that work to me so that you can go
What
do
man?
other
Yeah.
higher return on life items. As you look to achieve financial independence, how do you view the concept of enough?
I think for me, enough is never enough. Like, you know me
Uh,
very well. I think it's never enough. Um, but if we have to talk in things that I think for me enough would be point where I know I have enough to support my both sets of parents, like Som's parents as well as my mother, and of course my three siblings, because after my uncle passed away, I'm like the dad, and I want to make sure that I have to take care of those three and also my in-laws.
Tomorrow, if for both of us or either one of us has to take a career break, having saved, having food on the table and roof on, also part of me has also realized that um, being healthy and having your loved ones is more than just having money. So I think, and I'm still trying to find that balance and trying to understand. And I think both matters. Like I said, just not having money is also not a thing. You do need money, but at the same time, money is not everything. Like I said, my uncle passed away suddenly. We didn't expect him to leave, and what are we gonna do? Whatever he made and what, like he didn't take that with him. And people just talk about how good he did it. People talk about how we were not his own daughters, and he still took care of us like his own daughters. Matters more than anything else.
as you navigate your journey in the US, Siddhika, how do you view which class you're in? What socioeconomic class do you think you're in the US?
Um, like there are two things to it. Whenever I tell someone that, hey, I think we need to earn more or we need to look into better paying jobs, then someone keeps on telling me you need to understand that you are on that 20% population of the US where you're making better money. Uh, for me, I'm still a middle class. Uh, um, I think for Soham, might be a little bit upper middle class. For me, we are still a middle class. And like I don't know when for me it would start feeling that we're going from middle class to higher middle class or being a millionaire. I don't know
Yeah,
when.
that's exactly what I was going to ask you because we know the data, but somehow it's just not like it doesn't make us feel better, right? It's just about how
Yes.
we perceive our own situation in these cases. As you look to the future, I know you're looking to be independent to support three siblings, both sets of parents. Have you talked about starting a family, things like that?
Both of us, being in both when we got married, before we got married, we decided we don't like want kids. And both of us have different reasons of not having kids, and we did discuss with our parents. And we are also in the process, like maybe 10 years down the line, if things change, we are open to adoption. For me, I think the biggest part about thinking of not having kids was when I lost my parents. I always felt like I don't want to live a financial burden on someone. Uh, and for me, that is the biggest. Like for me, like I said, for me, the financial independence is utmost important in life, and that's my biggest choice of not having kids. The world, I don't know, world is going crazy, and I don't want to end up leaving a part of me behind and someone else struggling to make their life better or whatever it takes. And the other part being uh being financial also, I want to enjoy life. Like I take this from my uncle that I want to enjoy life, and I don't want to be against anyone or like, hey, people don't enjoy life after kids or something like that. That's my take on life. With the responsibility and everything, I think I'm not meant to take those responsibilities.
I mean, it's a different approach for sure, but at the same time, I will say you're looking to support your
Yeah.
siblings, right, and your parents as they grow older. So how do you kind of navigate that decision as a couple, right? Like once you decide, is it set in stone, or do you allow yourself the grace to say, I will change my mind?
For me, like I told Soham that legally part of my life was also being adopted, and my life became better. And if I think, for me, it doesn't matter having a own child or having adoption. Having a child means making someone's life better or giving them a better life. So we have thought about it that hey, down the lane, if we move back to a different country or anything, and if we feel okay, no, I think it's time we need someone, we both are open, like adopting. And again, I don't want to. say reasons why some don't want because that's his part. But I think still we've had conversation, especially with I remember having conversation with both our parents were here and his mom and my mom were sitting in him, and we had open conversation. Like they were asking us about okay, what are the plans for kids, and we were really open. Like I understand your side, but I also want you guys to understand our part of why we think we don't want kids. And let's talk about it maybe after 2 3 years. We are not telling you like, oh, complete stop, but 99% yes, we don't want kids.
How did they react?
Uh, I think my mom didn't take it well, for sure. My mom was like constant, like I'm gonna come and hit you because you cannot, like you don't want to say like that. You're causing negative energy around you, so stop saying that. Uh, Soham's mom, she tried to explain, like she being a professor and teacher, she tried to explain things, and but she did not like dig deep into it. She's just sharing her thought process, and we just left the topic there.
Do you feel like your decision will change if you know, hit the number or become financially independent? Let's just say we drop $10 million in your bank account.
I think
I don't know where it'll come from, but okay.
still no, because I'm the life is so uncertain, and especially I think the losing parents and having that impact on me. I just feel like I don't want to leave a child in the world thinking he doesn't, because after all, family is family, no matter what. Like your mom or your dad, that they would do things for you, no one can do those things, and I think that's big no for me.
And then, as you look to become financially independent too, have you and Soham discussed the possibility of moving back to India or the probability of that happening, or are you happy where you are?
Uh, Currently we're happy where we are, but maybe few years down the lane, especially with Som being the only child and my mom, I think we would want to move back to India. And again, I don't want to work till I'm 60, so I want to enjoy life. It's short and we should enjoy it. So maybe 15, 20 years down the lane, or if our parents really need us, then of course we're going to move back.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. As we kind of wrap up, I typically ask people this, like, do you have any financial planning questions that you want to discuss over here that you think other people might benefit from as well?
I think I would definitely suggest people the idea of reverse budgeting and talking to you about it, because I it really changed my perspective about looking at things. Like how we have planned things, and then when I have to get certain things, or when I have to buy things, I know that the portfolio is diverse. So definitely, I would suggest people looking into that. A lot of, especially Indian population, think about renting out or Airbnb or buying property, and I think they should really talk to you too, because you did really change my thought process and my mind about it. Like not 100%, but still on the word, I'm thinking about it, and that's the one thing I really would suggest people talking to you. Third thing is discipline about your money. Know what you're doing with your money, um, and also not everything is about savings. Do keep money to buy things or get things or do things or travel or what you like to do, because again, if you save enough money now, and when you turn 40 or 50 and when you're down with illness, there is no point of having those money. Definitely having a financial advisor if you're not someone who doesn't like talking about money or doesn't like reading about the investments.
I think, yeah, it's definitely not for everybody, I would say, because I know a lot of people enjoy doing it themselves. But I know reverse budgeting is an easy way for a lot of people to budget and save, right? So it's two in one. And the way reverse budgeting works for people who are not familiar with it is as soon as you earn, we set money aside going into investments, whether that is a investment account or a IRA or a real estate fund. and then the rest of it is then going into a checking account that you can spend guilt free. So you rest easy knowing that you have money that you're saving each month. You're building the saving muscle, as well as you're spending guilt free because you know that the main liabilities that you have are being taken care of. And I think especially Indians in the US, like we earn enough money for us to be able to set money aside and live well. I think it's like finding that control that yeah, like because most people feel budgets are restrictive, and it does not need to be. You just need to save first. I like to line it up with the day you get paid so that you're saving the day you get paid, and then the rest of it is just going and you can spend it however which way you want. And real estate as well, right? Like I know your math works out differently because you're in Michigan, right? Whereas somebody in California or Washington, the math is completely different. And with where people are in life and things like that, they may just think real estate is better for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just more so understanding not just the financials, but also like how much work and how much time you want to put in and finding an alternate perspective. And I think a planner there provides objectivity as opposed to just being a yes man.
Yeah.
So,
And also, I think the other thing I would like to touch base was like having a planner is like taking a third eye, taking a third person who is very neutral, especially when you and your partner cannot find a middle ground. I think a planner knows better about both of you, and he has seen things or knows better. So I think having a planner is definitely a good idea.
yeah, it definitely creeps up into therapy territory sometimes, but we're all learning here. But going back to the story that you shared, right? Everybody's money story and everybody's journey is so personal
Uh-huh.
that it like to say one person's way of looking at things is valid or not valid is not right. Like you have to account for everybody's background and stories as you kind of figure out what is a solution that works for everybody. So I'm glad it's working for you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Siddhika. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from hearing your stories and perspectives, and I can't wait to share this with the world.
Thank you, Vrishin. Thank you, Pam.